In Mark chapter 2, it says Jesus heals a paralytic. He comes to a town called Capernaum where we're going to be tomorrow. And what happened, there was a room like this, and it was filled with so many people that you couldn't get in to hear Jesus teaching. And so a very typical roof, if you take a look up there, was a roof like this, except for typically they were spread out a little bit more. The beams, for safety, they've got them closer together with these reeds with mud on top, easily to penetrate. Because there was no room, they came in and they dug through the roof and lowered this guy. And Jesus, and he knows that there was Pharisees here to trip him up, and it's the Sabbath. And so Jesus turns and says to him and says, your sins are forgiven. And of course they're all aghast, going, what in the world? Who is this guy who says that your sins are forgiven? And what's more important is the whole idea. More important for your sins to be forgiven or for you to be healed? Obviously for your sins to be forgiven. And he goes on to tell them, he says, look, you guys are all looking at me like, who is this guy who can heal people from their sins? What kind of blasphemy is this? But so that you would know that the Son of Man has power to heal and forgive sins spiritually, I'm going to show you evidence of it by the things that I do. And I'm going to heal this man. And he tells him that he is healed to get up and walk. Take your mat and go home. And he walked out in full view of them all. Everyone was amazed. And the result was they all praised God, saying, we've never seen anything like this. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Hey, I'm going to take you outside and just show you one other thing. But look, here's an olive press. This is what would have happened. They would have pushed it along like that. Very easy to squish the olives to get the oil out. Come with me for a second.
Okay. Oh, perfect timing.
Here's an olive tree right here. And it's built in these terraces. And you know the parable where Jesus calls them, and people give the excuse. Well, I've got some terraces. I bought some land, and I've got to check the terraces out. And I've just married someone, and I've got to, I don't know, supposedly never checked his wife out. I don't know. But these were basically excuses. I've got this business and these oxen that I've got to go. Nobody buys things. These are just excuses. Nobody buys these things without checking them out first. You don't buy a piece of land without checking the quality of the terraces, because the terraces were important. If the terraces were not built well, you're not going to buy that land, or you're not going to pay that much for it. These are all excuses, but here's a visual representation of it as we look at these terraces of this olive tree. Well, here we're in the town of Nazareth. It's obviously a lot bigger today than it was before, but that's kind of cool. Today's message is brought to you from the town of Nazareth.